такое тесное. Просто...
Hey, I'm Valentina. So happy to see you here on my sewing vlog. In my last video, I made this skirt and I had a bunch of leftover fabric scraps. Throw them away? No way. I knew I had to use them for something fun. So today, I am making this cute little top. I'll show you how to draft the pattern yourself. Super easy, no fuss. And I'll be sewing it all on a regular sewing machine, no serger needed. I also show you how I take my own measurements comfortably and accurately. No weird acrobatics involved. The fabric I'm using is Cupro, leftover from my last project, but you can go with any Flowy fabric like satin, silk, faux silk, rayon chiffon, or lightweight viscose. Anything soft and drapey will work. And yes, I am adding lace too. I bought it for the last video. Nothing goes to waste around here. Of course, I'll walk you through every step so you can follow along and make it too. Ready? Let's do this. Taking measurements is seriously the foundation of everything. Without accurate measurements, you can draft a pattern, buy the right size, or even shop for clothes properly. So, today I am going to show you how to take your own measurements. Quick, easy, and no helper needed. First thing first, put on something fitted so your body shape is clearly visible. Yeah, just like that. Now everything nice and easy to read. Next, let's mark our main circumference points: waist, bust, and hips. I like to use soft elastic band for this. Wrap it around, secure it, and it instantly shows you where each line should go. Now grab your measuring tape and let's go. Bust circumference. Measure around the fullest part of your bust. Waist circumference around the narrowest part of your waist. Hip circumference at the widest part of your hips. Be sure to write all of that down as your basic body measurements. Now let's move on to the ones we'll need specifically for this top. Bust height from the base of your neck, that little dip, down to the fullest point of your bust. Bust center, the horizontal distance between your bust points. Above bust circumference, measure it just above your bust under the arms. Strap length from the base of the neck to where you want your strap to begin. Back waist length, from the base of the neck down the spine to the waist. I do it like this. Anchor the zero end of the tape at the waist in the front, bring it around over the shoulder and stop it the base of the neck. Garment length from the waist. Place the tape at the waistline and measure down the zero of the tape to your desired length. For a top, dress, or skirt, it's best to do this in front of a mirror to keep things straight. Of course, for more tailored or advanced garments, there are tons of other measurements you can take for darts, shaping, and perfect fit. But for this top, this set is more than enough. Alright, we'll got our measurements. Now let's draft that pattern. Let's go! Alright, time to make the pattern. I'll be drafting it on pattern paper, but honestly you can use anything: grid paper, craft paper, even some leftover wallpaper from the attic. The main thing is that you feel comfortable working with it. I really hope I explain everything clearly, because yes, there will be lots of lines and steps, but don't worry, it's all way easier than it sounds. Okay, let's go. We are starting with the back piece and the bottom edge of our future top. Draw two perpendicular lines, one vertical, one horizontal. The horizontal one is the hemline. Now, going up along the vertical line, mark the length of the garment. Mine is 20 centimeters. That's our waistline, so we draw it out to the right. Next step, take back waist length divided by 2. Mine is 17.5 centimeters, and mark that going up from the waistline. Draw a line across. That's our bust line. On the bust line, mark out the width of the top using the formula bust divided by 4 plus 1 centimeters. Mine is 21.5 centimeters. Now on the hemline, do the same with hip divided by 4 plus 1 centimeters. Mine is 23 centimeters. Connect these 2 points with a straight line. This will be the side seam for now. On the waistline, go 1 centimeter inward from that side seam, and now connect all 3 points, bust, waist and hem, with a nice curved line. This is our finalized side seam, so make sure to mark it. Now mark the opposite vertical line is the center back, and don't forget to label top and bottom. Cut out the pattern and copy it to create the front piece. For the front, leave extra space above the bust line. We'll need that for the body's shaping. Back to the back piece. Along the center back at the waistline, mark 1 or 2 centimeters inward to give the back a more fitted silhouette. This will be your new center back seam line. Now let's move on to the front bodies. From the center front, mark out bust center divided by 2. I have 9 centimeters. From that point, draw a vertical line upward and mark bust high minus strap high. In my case, 9 centimeters. Connect this point to the side and to the center. You'll get a triangle shape. That's the start of our body's triangle. Next, time to the bust dart. Take the inner edge of the triangle and divide it in half. That's the dart center. Now use the formula bust minus upper bust, all of them divided by 2. This gives you the total dart intake. Mine came out to 2.5 centimeters per dart, so I mark 1.25 centimeters to each side of the center. Connect the points and there's our dart. Now we need to draw the dart. Fold the longer dart leg over the shorter one so they match up. Then connect both of the top of the body's triangle. Nice and smooth. And that's it. We drafted a basic top pattern. If you extended it down from the hemline, tada, it becomes a dress. But since I'm planning to make a tie strap top, let's do a bit more pattern magic. From the top point of the body's triangle, measure strap length plus 3 centimeters. Mine is 70 centimeters. Use a nice curved line to connect that point back down to the bodies, and again, label everything clearly: fold line, side line, top, bottom. Cut out the new front pattern piece and let's take a look at our inspiration photo. It has a seam under the bust and a little gathering, so let's add that too. Mark the halfway point between the waist and bust line and draw a nice curved line from the center front. That's our under bust seam. Cut along that line, and now we have bodies and front. Label them. Now time for some pattern magic. First, let's close the bust dart. Extend the strap line upward and cut down toward the bust point, but don't go all the way through. Now gently close the dart and tape it down, nice and clean. Next, to create gathering, we need to add volume. Cut from the underbust seam almost all the way up, stopping just a few millimeters from the top, and gently spread the pattern as wide as you want. I added 5 centimeters of extra white. Tape it down and that's it. All the pieces are ready, and as always, I test my patterns before cutting into my final fabric. For this one, I made a mock-up using muslin and fabric scraps I had lying around. I highly recommend testing all new patterns this way. It saves fabrics, time and nerves. Only after that, go ahead and cut your fabric and start sewing your final top or dress or something. Well then, it's time to sew our top. If I had to rate the difficulty on a scale from 1 to 3, where 1 is beginner, 2 is intermediate, and 3 is advanced, this project lands somewhere between 1 and 2. Nothing too crazy, but you'll want to stay focused at a few steps. Pro tip: if you have an overlocker like you can stitch everything up fast and clean. But I decided to sew the entire top on a regular sewing machine, a bit of a personal challenge I think, so I'll be showing everything that way. What you'll need besides fabric and the pattern. Lace trim. Go for something soft and delicate. It lays nicer and feels better on the skin. Needles for light fair fabrics. I'm using 75 on 11. Just make sure they don't damage the fabric. A regular thread matching your main fabric color. And of course, my trusty sewing machine. Links to everything are in the video description. Let's get sewing. Step 1. Gather the bodice pieces. We've got 4 bodice pieces and we'll add gathering to each one. Sew 2 parallel lines using the longest stitch length and low thread tension. They are your gather stitches. Then gently pull on the bobbin thread and voila, you've got your gathers. Step 2. Stitch the bodice to the front piece and then sew the center back seam. Press the bodice seam upward, super important for a clean fit. Side seam, we're doing French seams. Here's how. Place pieces wrong side together and sew along the edge. I go about 7 mm from the edge. Press the seam, open it up and then flip the garment. Now with right side together, press again, trim the seam allowance and sew the second seam. This encloses the raw edge. Press the finished seam toward the back. It'll be neat and almost invisible. Next up, the ties. Sew them lengthwise, right side together, turn them right side out, press and attach to the bodice edge to edge on the right side. Quick tip: try the top on before sewing them down for good. I've put everything together and tried it on, and honestly, I'm pretty much like how it looks. I could almost leave it as is, but since I'm planning to add lace, I'll take it a bit at the back and lower the slit. I'll try it on again after that, and then it's time for the lace, for the facing and the hem. Now for the lace. After fitting, carefully stitch the lace onto the right side of all the upper front edge. Time to tackle the facing. Our bodice is lined, but what about the back? Let me show you. For the back, draft a new facing pattern. Mark halfway down the center seam to the waist. Trace this new facing onto another sheet. Cut it out with a 1 cm seam allowance. Finish the bottom edge of the facing using a narrow rolled hem. Fold to the wrong side and press. Stitch 2 mm from the fold. Trim to 1 mm. Fold again about 3 mm and sew one more time, close to the edge. Sew the facing side seam right side together using a regular straight stitch. Then attach the facing to the main piece right side together with a 1 cm seam. Trim the seam allowance. Make the facing edge slightly shorter for a soft roll-out finish. Turn right side out, and here's the cake. Fold the inner seam between bodice and facing to the inside and top stitch right in the seam line for a clean look. Press everything and trim any excess. Hide those facing side seam inside. I do this part by hand, stitching them into the seam. Final stretch, the bottom hem. I shortened the top by 5 cm. Pin the lace trim to the front side of the hem. Sew it in place. Press the lace upward and toward the inside. Trim the excess seam allowance and stitch one more time along the lace from the wrong side to secure everything. It holds up great. And just like that, our top is finished. Now let's show it off. Time for the final reveal. So the polka dot top finished, and I am absolutely loving the result. Now I have a complete summer set, both the skirt and the top in the same style. I can wear this top to the beach, out the walk, or even on a dinner date. It's a super versatile. I really hope I explained the pattern drafting and sewing process clearly, and I also showed you how can use this one pattern to make not just a top but also a dress. So many possibilities. Let's talk about budget too, because it's important too. Fabric, Cupro, just leftover scraps from a previous project, are around 1 meter, around $9. Elastic, I bought a whole roll for $2 and still have plenty left. Lace, 9 meters for only $3. So the total cost came out to about $14, and the best part, this top was made entirely from leftover fabric. I love that. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. The next video will also be a fun and easy tutorial, so don't miss it. Make sure to subscribe, give this video a like if you found it helpful, and of course, if you make this top yourself or have any question about the sewing or pattern, drop them in the comments. I read everything and love chatting with you. See you soon. Bye bye.